His competitors here. Really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to your Thursday night broadcast. Tonight is the CAMMUS Toyota GR86 series. This is round 4, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools, coming to you from the Nurburgring Sprintstrecke. Please don't hate me for that pronunciation. Tonight we are here for a 3.57 kilometre track. And of course, the GR86. We will be kicking off tonight's race with a 15-minute qualifier, and then the main race tonight is 60 minutes of hard-out racing. As always, you have me, Nathan ShiBBy Howard, and beside me in the comms box, if he is back, is Ryan Price.
I am Ryan Green, and I am
Ryan
back.
Green, sorry, freaking hell, I forgot to update your last name. Man, I need another coffee.
Right, that's all right. Here we are tonight, Nurburgring. Good little circuit. Obviously, not the Mecca, the green hell that we're at tonight. We got the shortest possible, second shortest possible configuration. There is the south loop you can do of the GP circuit, but unfortunately, we won't be touching the green hell tonight. Just keeping it civil on the new stuff.
Keeping it civil. What's that about?
Yeah, no civil tonight. Gotta get rowdy.
It is 8 a.m. in the morning. We're looking at a 16 kilometre an hour wind. 18 degrees air temp, which means the track temp's about 19 degrees. It is only early, so that may pick up during qualifying, which I don't know if the drivers are going to enjoy, but it's good to see the early morning nice cold temps. They are going to enjoy that as we run through qualifying. And before we get into that, we do have our standings as of round 3 last week. Was a sprint round. Cracker of a race, wouldn't you say, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of that short version of the Sebring Raceway really, for these cars, kept them nice and close and still had nice long straights. They got to stay together for pretty much the whole race, and good racing all the way right up until the very end. Yeah,
definitely a bit of an interesting finish, but it does mean we saw Jet Murray take out the overall round win. Being a sprint round, there is 2 races, one being a 20-minute and one being a 40-minute. So he managed to finish in P1 in the first race, which nabbed him the 50 points, and a second-place finish nabbed him the 96 points. So that did lock in his first-place finish. Some other great drives during the night. Jamie Christensen finished 5th in the sprint, and then had a great race in the 40-minute feature and actually managed to take P1. So well done to Jamie for that as well. Who was your standout last week, mate?
I think Callan. Yeah, we just saw him get caught up a few times in the middle of the race, and was just constantly, you see the delta just dropping all the way throughout, getting back into it, and I can't remember his exact results in the end, but I remember being quite up there, quite near the end.
In the first sprint round, he finished 12th, so I think there was
I think he had an incident in that first one.
He did, mate, he did.
And then in the second one,
he drove a blistering race in the second one, and you're not wrong. Kept dropping, getting involved with a couple of little mishaps, and fought his way back, end up in P3 to finish the feature. So absolutely great drive. Good choice for the your pick of driver last week, mate. So it'd be great to keep an eye on him this week. So that is your standings as of round 3, with Jamie Christensen for Team SRW Motorsports leading the way, but a tiny gap between him and John McHenry. Again, only seen John McHenry on the podium once, but his consistency landing him in the top 10 or top 5 every week has put him in that second place. So he's only been on the podium once. Keep that in mind, and look where he's sitting, second place at the moment.
Yeah, well, speaking from experience, I did exactly what J-Mac did last season. I stood on the podium one time, and that was the top step. Ended up finishing P3 in the championship last season. Didn't touch it. I was the collector of fourths last season, so you can still pick up points. Are quite generous all the way up into 4th place. Only about, for a normal round, this one, about a 15-point difference between 4th and 1st. So for 135 for 4th and 150 respectively for 1st. So still quite a bit you can pick up from finishing not just one position shy of the podium.
Yeah, it's very easy to pick up points as long as you're consistently driving. I think that's one of the best things about getting in here and having a race. If you turn up every week and race well and stay consistent, mate, you take points home every week.
Yeah, absolutely. Generally, for the viewers at home speaking, points, so 1st place gets 150, and then from then on down, 145 for 2nd, 140 for 3rd, so just take 5 points off for every position, and easy maths in your head.
Easy maths in your head. I got a calculator in front of me. That's easy maths. Mate, Nurburgring Sprintstrecke. Yeah, thanks, bud. Yeah. So you're definitely more attuned to the tracks than I am. What's sort of the spots tonight that we're going to probably want to keep an eye out with these 86s?
It's such a wide track, so we will see a lot of side-by-side racing. The turn 1 is going to be the big spot for an overtake. We do have the Mercedes Arena going through round 1 and 2. It doesn't cut straight back to the left through the Castrol S. It does take the full Mercedes inner circle. So, but down into turn 1, it's a pretty tough braking zone. It's downhill, it really descends towards the apex. It's almost feels like a story drop as soon as you turn around the corner, completely unload the front left down into turn 1. Here it is, as you can see, even just then, both right-hand side wheels completely off the floor. You've got to really watch your brake balance and how you control the weight distribution of the car through there. Then as you see, round turn 2, turn into turn 3, which I think turn 3 and turn 4 might be the worst 2 corners in all of motorsports. Turn 3 here, it's a natural driver's instinct to apex a corner and then run it out wide. You know, keep that apex speed. But turn 3, you got to keep it nice and tight. Really hug the inside, because you've got a fast right straight after it. This section of track, turn 5, really downhill again. Not a lot. Track's not used a lot. Not a lot of rubber on the floor, so it's not very grippy, and it's just constantly downhill, and you turn in and it crests right then. You don't have a lot of grip, and then you have a lot of it going in, so you can really unweight the car. Here's the next big spot down into here, getting a good run. This is all flat through here, down into the chicane. Braking at about the 70-meter board, and track's nice and wide. It is the more stoppy version of the chicane. GT cars will take the faster left-right that enters right there, but is a much harder braking zone for these cars. And then through the Coca-Cola curve, you know, this will be a good corner. You got to get a nice run, nice fast early on the power to set up, your move for turn 1.
Well, that was our on board with Mr. Dean Sinkovich, one of the league owners of SRW, and thank you for running us over that lap there, Ryan Green, not Ryan Price. Dear, oh dear. That was great. Good bit of information there for everybody out there watching to learn some of these tracks, even if you're not driving, and it's good information so you can keep an eye on all the cars tonight and see if you can remember any of that information. Man, I'm getting excited. We do have 5 minutes of practice left. We've had ZK1WY69 drop in and say hello, everyone. I'm going to say g'day, mate, straight back. And then we've also got Billy Punt dropping in saying evening, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight, mate? Well, I can tell you, I think Ryan and I are doing fabulous. It is the 86 night, the CAMMUS Toyota GR86 series. So, yeah, we're doing well, mate. I hope everybody out there is doing fantastic, and thank you all for tuning in. We highly appreciate all the support that the viewers are giving, not just us, but of course for the drivers out on the track. Because without these drivers, we wouldn't even have this amazing broadcast to put on for you guys. Huge thank you to CAMMUS, of course, for our Toyota GR86 series. Massive shout out to Warren and Brown Tools for our round 4 sponsor here at Nurburgring Sprintstrecke. as well as our qualifying session tonight is brought to you by Toyo Sim. They are also hosting our fastest lap tonight. Thank you to the promo department for our safety cars, and a huge shout out to our stream sponsors, which is, of course, Warren & Brown Tools, Grim Industries, Toyo Sim, and Racecraft. And thanks to you, Ryan, for joining me here in the comms box tonight.
Thank you for making it easier to commentate, being a producer tonight. All I got to do is watch the screen.
All you got to do is watch the screen and talk. Don't forget you got to talk.
And talk. You got to do both and breathe.
Yes, talk and breathe with these 86s. I do believe, because this is a bit more of a technical, tighter track, I'm hoping to see a lot more of these cars on top of each other tonight. It got a little stretched out over, I think it was last round or the round before, just because they did have some tracks with massively long straights. So I think with all the twists and turns tonight, we should see some bloody good racing.
Yeah, I think the thing to keep in mind is this is an FIA Grade 1 circuit. This configuration is Grade 2, but generally speaking, the Nurburgring is Grade 1. So these walls are quite a distance away from the track itself. You know, FIA Grade 1 means Formula 1 can run at these tracks. Not this configuration, but this track in general. So seeing a safety car, especially down this part of the track, you can see just how far away the walls are. You'd have to do a generous effort to hit a wall. One thing you do want to be careful of, though, and I've done it before driving this track, is the pit wall around the Coca-Cola curve right there. If you try to hug it too tight, you can really snag the inside. It sneaks up on you in a weird spot, and you can completely bust the front end of your car, the front right, completely tear it off. It's kind of, you're going around it, especially on a flat screen monitor, you just run around. If you're running up on the curb trying to really apex that corner and hug the apex, it kind of just sits on the apex. It's in a really weird spot, that pit wall. Pit entry is well before it, and you're probably not going to hit the pit wall on entry, but heading around the Coca-Cola curve trying to get a good run out of turn 11, it's just there. But otherwise, maybe down at the outside of turn 1, we might see some cars on the wall, but otherwise there's not too much walls. So unless these guys are running into each other, safety cars might be sparing tonight.
While we've got a bit of time, I want to drag a special guest down. Mr. Greg Johnson, as we're qualifying is going to kick off in a second, but we have a bit of time because they're going to do their warm-up laps anyway. Mr. Greg Johnson from Team Greg, avid sim racer, has been with Sim Racing World from the very beginning. Loves supporting great causes, very well known for... I've just had a mental blank. Prostate cancer. Spruiks and you know, promotes prostate cancer awareness all the time. Was a family thing for him, and now it's just constant. You know, wants to make people aware of it, especially men, because we're the ones with the prostates. So, you know, go and get yourself checked. But tonight he is running this livery, which we can see on screen. I will get a better shot of it in a minute. For Tourette syndrome awareness. So this is Wear Teal for Tourette's. If you guys want to go and help support a fellow SRW team member and driver, we love supporting Greggy Johnson, but we're actually going to get him in here. The link is in the description. Not in the description. The link has just got into the chat if you guys want to go check it out and help support. But I'm going to drag him down and maybe surprise him a little bit here. As we move out to qualifying. So I'm going to get him in and let's have a quick chat with him. Mr. Greg Johnston.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. You were in the pits. I couldn't get a good shot of your car.
Sorry, mate. I'll get out on the track.
That's probably a good idea. So this is the man, Mr. Greg Johnston from Team Greg Racing. I was just talking you up a little bit, mate, that you're fully behind prostate awareness, and tonight you are wearing teal.
I am wearing teal tonight. and supporting the Tourette Syndrome Association of Australia. My daughter, Cassie, she has Tourette's, and it doesn't hamper her, but it's a very interesting thing to have. The stats blew me away a little bit the other week when I heard that 1 in 100 people in the country could have Tourette's. So
that's because there's different varying levels of Tourette's, isn't there? There's stuff that's minor
correct.
tics right up to full body convulsions. So there's
exactly right.
Wow.
I back in March, I went away with my daughter down to Phillip Island for the Victorian Tourette Association camp, and immersed myself with all the kids and the adults that have Tourette's for a couple of days, and it was a serious eye-opener. You go from such little things like little eye twitches to full-blown tics. One of the girls had a paralysis tic. She was out doing a ropes course or archery or something like that, and then all of a sudden her legs stopped working.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we had to get a wheelchair and get her back to base camp so we could have lunch. And then after lunch, she was still struggling through them, and we managed to get her on the giant flying fox that they have down at the CYC camp.
Oh, that's fantastic, mate.
And yeah, look, it's an interesting thing. The tics can be anything from vocalizations, swearing is not uncommon, to full body twitches, to hitting yourself, hitting others. But the campaign at the moment's around what's your first response, and the whole idea of the campaign is there's two parts to it. Just for the general public, when you see someone having Tourette's, how do you respond to it? And what is your first response? Just say, hey, how you going? Anything I can do to help you? Those sorts of things. And the other part of the campaign is for the first responders, for the police, ambulance, SES, and how they respond to people with Tourette's, because to them, there's not a lot of difference between someone with Tourette's and it's someone that's drug and alcohol affected. So getting them to figure out how they deal with that and helping them obviously helps the people with Tourette's and the general community as well.
Definitely, mate. And there's no real known cure at the moment, is there? There's just sort of preventative and measures to help them once they start going through, the tics.
Correct. It's a neurological condition, and they believe it's genetic, which is interesting because I don't know of anyone in my family apart from my daughter that has any tics as such. So yeah, and obviously it affects each of the people that have it in different ways. Do you watch Ninja Warrior, Shib?
Yes. Me and my daughter have gotten right into Ninja Kids and Ninja Warrior. She now wants to be a Ninja Warrior. So
well, one of the Tourette's ambassadors is James Sayers, who is Ninja Twitch, long redheaded guy.
Yeah, right.
I spent the day with James on Sunday at the Yakaboo Festival at Pakenham. Amazing guy. Tourette's doesn't slow him down. When he's on the course doing the ninja stuff, he's 100% focused on it. No twitches. As soon as he gets off course, twitches come back, and he has full body twitches.
That's crazy.
And just to see him on the weekend talking to kids and people that recognised him was really, really good.
Oh, mate. Well, we are absolutely stoked with the support you do for great causes, being, prostate cancer and prostate awareness, which is a phenomenal one because that was a close family reason with you as well. And
that was me.
Yeah, that was you. That's right. Yes, that was you. And now Tourette syndrome with your daughter. Just a quick question before we let you go, mate, because qualifying is well underway. With your daughter, is she severe and is it easier for you and the family to, work through it?
Look, she has minor tics, just vocalizations, a few little hand tics and stuff like that. Okay. And they sort of come and go a little bit. But the yeah, like she's a chef by trade, and you see her in the kitchen with the knives out and all the rest of it, and you wouldn't know it.
Oh, well, so that takes the focus away and keeps
It does.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
There's another guy that races iRacing. He's been racing for about 3 years. He races in the NASCAR in the ANZ car series, the AMS car series. And I was chatting with him today online, and he said when he's driving, no ticks. And that's the thing. Some of these guys actually have their own licenses and do the rest of the things that we do. And because they're mentally focused on what they're doing, the mind takes care of the ticks for them. So it's really interesting to see how it all sort of comes into play, and it affects them in different ways.
Yeah, mate. Well, again, thank you so much for bringing great causes like this to the attention of the public through iRacing, mate.
My pleasure.
We love everything that you do, and every time you have a great cause, we're keen to spruik you and your cause. So thank you for bringing awareness to Tourette's this evening, mate. So wearing teal for Tourette's. The link is in the chat if you want to go and read more and also help support Greg's cause. Great cause to get behind, especially that you're supporting, of course, a member of SRW and a family that is dealing with Tourette's as well, mate. So
and we ran the Honda Civic in the same colour scheme last night, and managed to sneak it home in P4. So the aim for tonight is to try and get myself well up into the front half of the grid. Well, the front half of the field by the end of the race, and stay out of trouble tonight.
Stay out of trouble tonight, mate. You staying out of trouble? I'll be interested to see that.
I'm certainly going to give it a crack. The last few races have not been ideal for me.
Mate, well, get out there. We need to talk about some of these qualifying laps. Thank you so much for joining us in the broadcast room, mate. Guys, everybody out there, this has been Greg Johnson from Team Greg, wearing teal tonight, teal for Tourette's. So, mate, good luck tonight. Have a great race.
Thanks, Shib.
All right, Mr. Ryan Green, we are back on board. I just had to make my race control admin as they went for some funny reason. But sorry about missing some of the qualifying, guys, but that is an awesome cause to get behind. So wear teal for Tourette's. Check out the link in the chat. Jason Douglas has come through with a 140.95. Doesn't surprise me at all. The LMR Esports boys working together to pull that time around. Joshua Horton, man, is he coming through the 86 series or what? Out of nowhere. Last couple of races, just up there in the battles.
Absolutely, and you can't miss him sporting the Boogie Bomb livery, homemade MS Paint spec creation here. Set a lap of a 141.67 on the back of Jason Douglas. Jet Murray nipping at the heels here, only half a tenth off the back. He'll be looking up to pick a toe to get a jump Josh here, but yeah, Josh has just been climbing every week, just always up here.
I think
kicking it with the LMR boys.
Yeah, I think his consistency is starting to, because we've seen over qualifying and practice sessions over this season that he can be really quick around the track, but I think consistency might have been letting him down a little bit. But I feel like he's starting to get a good feel of this car now, and that consistency is building now.
Yeah, just keeping it consistent is absolutely paramount with how the point system's structured as Jet disappears, comes back, but with how the point system structured, it really does reward consistency and getting consistent results. If you're flying all over the joint, picking up P12 run race, but then you're P3 the next, bagging 4th place, 5th place, race after race, snagging a podium here and there, really, it shows on the scorecard, and it'll really show in the long run, come down to the crunch time at the end of the season.
Definitely. And we talk about consistency. I want to bring up a friend of mine and a guy that pretty much taught me everything I know about broadcasting and running the broadcast for Sim Racing World, Mr. John McHenry. He's actually not out in the qualifying session. He did get a rear of grid last week, which is fine because he doesn't qualify. He likes to start rear of grid anyway. This man in the 86s this series went from 14th to 1st to win a race, and then consistently in that top 5, and that's why he's locked himself in the second place on the leaderboard at the moment, which is it's just phenomenal. Like, don't bother winning podiums, just get out there and finish in the top 5 and lock yourself in a second place on the leaderboard. So
yeah, and he just keeps himself available for results as well, if you know what I'm saying. Just even if he finishes 4th, finishes 5th, if something happens, if we get an unopportune safety car for the leaders, he's gonna be the beneficiary almost always. He's always on the right strategy, it seems like, just has a knack for it. And you saw it at Daytona. As you said, came out of the pits, I think it was 40 seconds or something, maybe 30 in the lead. And the LMR boys had to work with each other, bump drafting around the Daytona banking just to catch up to him in the end.
yeah, so it was 40 seconds, and they actually brought that gap down to 3 seconds on the last lap. So they were gaining. He was on a very heavy fuel save strat because of when he pitted. He pitted so much earlier than everybody else, but it definitely worked in his favor. And that's something I'm excited to see tonight. The pit lane, apart from the entry, is relatively quick to get through. It shouldn't be too much of a long stand in there. So I'm excited. I'm thinking, oh gosh, what you reckon, 20-minute mark possibly for the 86s?
I think from memory it's about, between 20 and 26 is about your pit window. Generally about that range. We'll see what happens with the safety cars, but it's a pretty long pit lane, and it needs to be supporting the Nurburgring 24 hours and all the cars that participate there. So it's got a lot of pit stalls and quite a long pit lane, but the pit transit is 60 kilometers per hour, so the cars do move up and down it quite quick. But notably the exit is the main thing. You come out on the right hand side of the track pretty late down the straight, basically right onto the apex of turn 1 once the pit exit lines finish. You really can't swing over to the left at all without completely missing the apex for turn 1. And as a car running down the street on a green lap, they just appear. You can see them, and you're carrying quite a bit of speed down the main straight, and it feels like a dash to the apex. Who can get there first? It creates a lot of side-by-side action heading down into turn 1, and then you're running through turn 2, and these cars, we know how good they are running side-by-side.
Oh, they're exciting to see side by side. 4th round in, and I do believe we've seen 3-4 cars wide across a few tracks this season, as well as last season. The end of our 2022 season, the 86s were kicking off really hard. All these broadcasts are still on our YouTube, so if you guys want to go back and check out any of the championship rounds from last season or last year, they are all there. Definitely check out the Bathurst finale of last season. That was an absolute, cracker of a race. Bathurst 86s, lots of drivers, plenty of points on the line. The top 3 were only separated by 50 points, and mate, that was phenomenal. So if you guys want to check that out, all our saves are in there. As Jason Douglas, someone was on a lot of purples then.
It was Jet O'Murray there. Yeah, Jason Douglas still kept his first place position, but Jet picked up double purple sectors in the first and second. Must have just lost a bit of stumbled on my words. Must have lost a little bit of time through the chicane in sector 3. That's really all it is, the chicane and the final hairpin. Very small sector. Must have just lost a little bit through there. He was looking like he was going to go for a pole lap, just settled for 1.5 tenths behind his teammate Jason, but cracking lap there, 141.09. Blistering lap, just a hair off getting into the 40s, but almost.
Still, don't have to be overly quick in qualifying. You do need to be quick during the race, consistent, drive fair, and get out there. And a huge shout out to Simulonics for dropping in tonight. They've said in the YouTube chat, you think you're watching sim racing, then get a whole other real people story. And he loves it, mate. We, all of us here at Sim Racing World and Sim Racing World TV, love promoting our drivers, their teams, their sponsors, and especially love promoting great causes that they all get behind. So, yeah, that was Mr. Greg Johnson wearing teal for Tourette's. Go check out the link, help support him. So, that is the qualifying come to an end. A bit of a slow qualifying. We had, I wouldn't say an interruption, it's our special guest, Greg, but Jason Douglas will take out your Toyo Sim qualifying session for the CAMMUS GR86 series round 4, thanks to Warren and Brown. Jet O'Murray in second, Joshua Horton again up in third. Ryan Price, this man, I was having a chat to him before the broadcast. He is brand new to sim racing, never done it in his life. He is 2 months in. 2 months into sim racing. iRacing is the only thing he's ever done. He's only ever raced the MX-5s and found our league and joined the 86s. So he's sitting in 4th at the moment through qualifying. So I think over this season, Ryan Price is going to be someone to keep your eye on. And you can't miss his car because it's got Homer and donuts all over it.
Yeah, that's a fantastic result for Ryan now. I'm sure he'll be very pleased with that one, setting a 142.7. Just really tight from 4th place all the way through 7th there. Only about half a second there between those guys. So just 0.2 off the back of him was Bruce White in 5th, and then Dean Sinkovich 0.03 off the back of Bruce in 6th place there. So just missing out and picking up another position. Callum Hodgkinson there again, and 0.2 behind that. Kevin Wakefield 8th, and Stephen Sinkovich 9th. Greg Johnson, our man who we had for the first half of the qualifying, picking up 10th position. And we have a few, I believe, starting from the back. Jamie Christensen being one, Mark Turner being another, and John McHenry.
Yep, so I do believe
from the back.
After Christensen's amazing race last week, locking himself into that podium position, I don't believe he had enough fuel to finish the cool-down lap. So due to our rulings is that you can't finish the cool-down lap. You do get a rear-of-grid start. But Jamie Christensen races the 86 series in real life. He is no slouch. Very tough competitor. So definitely keep an eye on him as he moves through the field. As the cars are starting to grid now, the results are exactly how they have gridded. Never find a good camera. Oop. So we do have 13 cars on track this evening for the CAMMUS Toyota GR86 series. This is round 4, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. If you guys want to check out any of our sponsors, all links are down in the description. We are getting ready for green. You can hear these little 4 cylinders revving up. We are just waiting for Jet. Jason is there. No Jet as of yet. Countdown will go to 2 minutes before the race will officially start, whether you're on the grid or not. Jet is now on the grid. Trying a rear view start this time. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Round 4 of your CAMMUS GR86 series. Get set, get ready, let's go racing. Oh, no, we're talking about Ryan Price. He has actually managed to bog down on the start-finish line and has ended up with Kevin Wakefield right up his rear. Jason Douglas has got a great start. Joshua Horton close in behind him already. I think these two are going to be glued to each other. And there's a spin! There is a spin between 4 cars in the back there. They have all managed to get back on track. It looks like Bruce White and maybe Dean Sinkovich were involved with that. Christensen again already up 7 positions. Must have got a phenomenal start. And McHenry is right there with him as well. Just behind him in the Locked On Lads livery. Oh, no. We see another car around. Cold tyres, boys. Cold tyres. Forgot to give that warning, right? Forgot to tell him.
Yeah, just turn 1 notorious at this track for just being a bit of a hell corner. Just akin to Monza turn 1, just a lot of pile up, heavy braking zone off the start. Check up off Ryan Price's stall really didn't help. The pack spread out a lot there, a lot of bunched up. Contact was almost inevitable. As we see Josh Horton show the nose for the inside, but just nowhere near close enough. Cold brakes too early in the race. You got a long way to go. An hour race tonight for our normal round, so just doesn't want to show his hand too early. He's got a lot of time left on the clock. There's no need to rush into it. Should focus on right now sitting nice and behind Jason, trying to build a gap to the cars behind. Jet on the back of Josh now, just really getting close as he looked to make a move into turn 1, I believe.
Oh, something's happened.
Something
I think
has
Horton's
happened.
had a slowdown because everybody has just gone around him. He's actually dropped back into 5th. Mark Turner has also made the move on John McHenry and moved himself up into 6th place. I wonder if that all happened through the slowdown. We will get a really quick replay. That was side by side down the straight. He's had the inside line and he's managed to hold it. McHenry's had to go a bit wider. And Turner was able to hold that nice clean inside line and hold that through the next corner as well. Great overtake there.
Yeah, that'll be one spot we watch out for is the chicane tonight. You can really easy to pick up off tracks and slowdowns through there. The track limits are very hit and miss, especially with the sharper chicane. Really easy to pick up some slowdowns and they're quite harsh. About 1.6 if not more. And due to iRacing standard, that's probably about 3 seconds. It's never 1.6.
Never 1.6 as we've got Bruce White trying to get a good run on Sinkovic here. Mr. Dean Sinkovic. Whoa, we'll hold that inside line, but the ripple strip got that car super unsettled and you see it go up on 2 wheels. But Dean did also have a bit of a slide and that has locked Bruce White in as Mr. Johnston in the teal beast tonight going head to head with Ryan Price. Also, we're wearing a bit of teal in the donut machine. Jamie Christensen has just set the Toyo Sim fastest lap of this session. But the race with a 1:41.49. So Christensen up 9 spots already, making the moves through the pack, really wanting to chase down the LMR Esports boys. Does not want to let them get away because once they get racing together, they will pull away from the pack, and Christensen does not want that. I'm interested to find out what happened to Horton. I'm wondering if he did get a slowdown for cutting over a corner. There was a big slide in the background. Callan Hodgkinson. Oh, no, and Horton now as well. Talking Horton up at the start of the race and has now been commentator cursed. Unlucky for him. Really was hoping to see him up there. It is only early days yet. Pit stops are still yet to come. Good to see him getting back up there. Mark Turner fighting his way through the pack as well. Up 9 positions. Side by side with Callan Hodgkinson. Does have the nose out at the moment. Can he get the braking zone? He is going to be on the outside. Nice move across there onto the apex. Holds that off, takes Callan Hodgkinson's pace, and now he is up. Something's happened in the front as well. There's so much going on already. Christensen has dropped that gap from behind Jet and Jason and managed to get round Jason at some point.
Jason might have picked up a slowdown. He's dropped all the way down to 1.3 behind Jamie even, who's 1.5 off the back of Jet. Jet was sitting in P2 before Jamie in P3, so Jason's dropped all the way back, lost about 3 or so seconds, if not more, to drop all the way back down to P3. But those 3 at the front, already a 5-second gap back to P4. They've really started to stretch their legs. They're going to battle, but they want to do it in their own space.
Oh, it did. There was the replay of the overtake.
There we go. It would have been a slow down. Running wide, try to serve it around the corner. Just, it's a bit hit and miss when you do it that way. Sometimes IRacing registers, sometimes it won't take any time off the clock. So maybe it looks like he has done them because he's still now only 1.1 off the back. But Callum Hodgkin riding on board now up 2 spots, 3/10 off the back here of Mark Turner. Mark Turner up 10 spots since the start. Started in 14th and just on an absolute mission in the opening stages of this race.
Look at this, mate. P6, P4, and P2 all started at the rear of this field. And they are all up 10 and 7 positions. Like, that is phenomenal. Oh, Callan got a great run out of that corner then.
He's going to have the inside for this corner, but if Mark can hang it around the outside, he will have a great run. He's going to look for a switchback and look to set up a good exit down into turn 1. He's nice and close. He's going to have an excellent toe all the way down here. Just got to watch J-Mac in the back as well. He's going to keep his eye on this. Mark will pull into the inside. Going to have the inside line. Very easy to defend around the outside of this tractor as well. You can do it 2 ways. You can do it from the inside or the outside. Very late on the brake there for Mark. He's run it. He's done really well then to get that pulled up.
As you said, though, look who's closed the gap. There is a John McHenry hot on their tails.
Yeah, John McHenry just stalking his prey a little bit, just letting these 2 guys squabble a little bit and pick up the scraps. Sure, he'll want to get in on this action.
Oh, yes, and playing it smart too. We're only 7 minutes in. There is no huge need to push. He can just sit there, use a bit of that draft, save a bit of fuel, let them battle and hope that one of them makes a mistake out of it. And he can commit to their mistake and make an easy pass without too much of a fight. Jason Douglas now has set the Toyo Sim fastest lap with a 141.20. Christensen and Jet O'Murray are all running 141, so the top 3 are really putting the hammer down at the moment and trying to get as much space, I think, between the rest of the pack. Douglas is still a long way off Christensen and Murray, hasn't he? Dropped right back.
Yeah, just back down to 6/10 off the back of Christensen. That was a blistering lap, though, a 141.2. That, as Jamie Christensen just crossed the line, did a 1 and another fastest lap again, a 141.18. As I was saying, that just keeps getting faster and faster. I was going to say the gap between the next lap was Christensen's 140.5, the 3/10 gap, but he's just gone faster again. Christensen would have beaten his lap, but Jason's one-upped himself the next lap in a row. His tyres are nice and warm now in the window. Still got a lot of grip in hand. These laps are only going to get faster as the race goes on. Pole lap being a 140.9, so we can see it dip into there. You know, these cars, the tyre wear isn't too bad with these cars. The tyres hold on for a very, very long time. But once the fuel really comes out, these things being not particularly powerful, the less fuel they have in it, the lap time comes in troves.
Speaking of fuel, this is a 32% fuel restriction. That is not much fuel to have in your car. So that is going to force possibly more pit stops, which should hopefully bring the battles back into play. Speaking of battles, we've got Hodgkinson back on the back of Mark Turner again. These guys are into it. Last time we got on board with these two, Mark Turner got around Hodgkinson. Oh, he's blipped. Wait, he's back. It was a horrible time to blip there, Callan, as you made the move. So Callan has managed to get back around Mark after Mark took that position off him only the lap before. Joe Mahoney has dropped in and said, "Hey lads, how you doing, Joe? Hope you're doing well tonight." Douglas has now really closed that gap on Christensen. Keep an eye on McHenry and Mark Turner as well. As these guys are, I feel like they're pushing super hard. If anybody knows the fuel burn stats at the moment, shout them out in chat for me. I'd be very interested to know. Especially with such a big restriction. McHenry still just sitting off the back of Mark and Callan. He's had plenty of time to really close this gap, but it looks like he is playing the smart game at the moment, letting these two battle out. He's just going to keep using that draft. He's not going to bother.
Down on the run to turn 1, he did have the gap down to under 4 tenths. It was about 3.5 tenths. Just lost a little bit. It looked through Mercedes Arena, but this looks to be a stronger section of the track. Round through Sector 2 and through Sector 3, looks to be quite a bit faster than the guys ahead. Down to 5 tenths now, so here it is through Sector 2, and he's going to have a massive toe down into the chicane. Yeah, these guys, if they go for it again, Mark and Callan in front, which they look to do, he's going to be right on the back through Coca-Cola curve and then down into turn 1 again. Callan defending the inside. It just can't be done around the outside. I don't think there for Mark. Did force Callan to defend, however, so this has brought John right back onto the back here.
Hear him there, just
nice and close to that pit wall. As I was saying, it just pops out of nowhere, but 3.5 tenths and dropping down on the back now, but here we go. Joshua Horton now in on the action, 2 tenths behind. That's whose Delta I was watching. I was looking at the wrong one.
Oh, yeah. Horton is coming into the battle. He's actually making a move around McHenry.
Yeah.
He's just going to hold this.
Surprise. This is a very hard move to keep around the outside because you've got 2 left-hand corners back to back. So if he can hold it all the way around, he has. He's got a great run out of turn 2 and an absolute slingshot into turn 3. And now down on the run down to turn 5. That was a great move.
That was a phenomenal move. He just came out of nowhere. I wonder if McHenry didn't see him in the rear view. He's just... McHenry playing it a little too safe there and has actually managed to give away a position. Maybe he should have pushed on Mark and Callan a bit harder and tried to have it in there. But again, it's only early in the race, 13 minutes in. McHenry may have just been like, you know, if I lose this position, as long as I can stick with these boys, I'm still going to be right up there with a chance. Because if he gets around all of them, he's up into P4. So, Douglas. Oh, something's happened with Christensen. Christensen has slowed right down, and that's put Douglas. And Horton's just got round Turner. There's too much happening. I need to see what's happened here with Christensen. Quick replay on board. Oh, do you think he got a slowdown through those corners?
That seems to be it. He's straight on the brakes.
Straight on the brakes. So that's where... Which one?
There it is there. Yeah, you got to keep 2 tyres on the black stuff. I don't believe you can cross over the white line. It will automatically give you a slowdown penalty there. It's very sensitive. It doesn't give you a lot of leeway.
Right, so that's very unlucky. Looking very smooth through there, though. But Christensen isn't going to go away without a fight. And let's get a replay of Horton going again. He's trying to push for Callan now. Mark's not going to let him get away, but he did get around McHenry, and now he's around Mark Turner. After a bit of a rough start, Horton is on his way back up the pack.
Yeah, defending the inside there into turn 5. Not going to be easier on the outside there. If doable at all, completely downhill and cresting around turn 5. You're not going to have a lot of grip to get the run down into turn 6, but Josh Horton right now has a lot of pace in hand and is really slicing and dicing through this mid-pack. Did start in 3rd, dropped down at the start through an incident, I believe, or it may have been a slowdown, as Mark is going to try to put the nose in right under the gearbox now of Josh Horton. Going to look to the outside. Nice and deep there for Josh. Nice and tidy through the chicane. Yeah, just seeing a few drivers look to the outside through the chicane. With the way the chicane is, with the slower chicane and how sensitive the off-track is on the right-hander, and particularly the slowdown it gives with it, it's going to be a hard one to get through there.
This is the move on Mark. Wow, Horton very late into the braking zone. What a spot to pick an overtake. Watch this as they come down right on the rear of Mark. Moves over. Watch, very late on the hard brakes. Get right down the inside of Mark and makes that corner his.
Did play a little bit of footsies within there, said, I'm going to go right. Actually, psych, we're on the left-hand side now. Good luck defending this from the outside. And just was very confident on the brakes, and that's all she wrote. Mark,
My gosh!
that's Joshua Horton even. Get very deep, and as I said, not a lot of grip there on the outside of turn 5. Talon is just, has the inside line through turn 5, and it's very easy to hold your position through there if you're going to try to attack on that outside line. He did have the inside, really wanted the move here, but side by side, door to door, just so much later on the brakes. Talon very confident with his braking spot.
Yeah.
Just picked it nicely. Kind of seen that Josh is maybe going to go a little bit deeper.
They're at it again.
As they're going again down the inside. It's becoming pedestrian now for Josh. Same spot every lap. If he needs to get it done, this is where he's going to get it done.
As we drop back to the near rid of the back of the pack. Oh my gosh. This is battle for P9. Bruce White and Kevin Wakefield. He has changed his beautiful Caltex livery. He actually sent me a message on Discord and he said, I'm really sorry to disappoint you, ShiBBy, but I'm not running the Caltex livery anymore. And I was a little heartbroken. But good to see him out there in the snap-on Toyota 86. Bruce White has managed to round up Wakefield and make his way into 9th place. Gaps are moving out a little bit more, but here we see the LMR Esports lads, first and second, doing what they do best, and that's racing as a team. Definitely a huge benefit to being out on track with a teammate, especially when you're as quick as these two young lads as Jet Murray goes off.
Wide.
I gotta say, the skills it takes to put the rear tyres of an 86 off a corner at fast speeds and hold on to it is ridiculous.
And the skill it takes to avoid the commentator's curse is even more paramount.
Yeah, that's true. You can't avoid that. If that's going to happen, it's going to happen, mate.
Yeah, maybe Jamie just had another slowdown again. The gap was down to about 5 seconds. It's just jumped back out to that now.
Yeah, 2.5 through the corner, but that's going to stretch.
It seems to be jumping around on the timing tower. It keeps changing, but I don't know what's going on.
I think he did have a slowdown. Maybe it was through the same corner.
Jason did. That's why the gap's dropping, because Jason is now 3 seconds off the back of Jet.
And here comes
so
Christensen.
So it's brought Jamie well and truly in. So that seems to be the spot. Drivers tonight losing a lot of time through the chicane. You know, they're going to want to go there as quick as they can to get nice and close on the run so you can be on the rear gearbox of your opponent on the run down to turn 1. But if you get too greedy through that chicane, it's really going to bite you and bite you quite hard. Just when we said the LMR boys were beginning to start to check out of this race, the gap was up to 5 seconds.
Little mistake, yeah.
We have one slowdown penalty and Jamie's right back in the mix.
Look at Jet though. Look how far up the track he is now. He has just gone, teammate, I've got to go. I'm sorry you got to slow down, but I've got to keep pushing.
But we've seen that's only one slowdown penalty. So unless Jet can keep it absolutely impeccable.
Oh, no.
As you see again, Jamie's have got another one through there, really trying to push to get back on the
get back on the others. Or is he having hardware issues? Do you think he had a slowdown through there again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you
no
can
way
see
you're
it
jumping on the
there,
brakes
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Watch this
Absolutely,
right-hand
had to slow
side
down.
of the car here. Ready? Way too far over that corner there. Both right-hand side wheels do go straight over that green rubber there, and that is what's causing that slowdown. So that's twice we've seen him get that slowdown. Really unfortunate spot for slowdowns. I feel like that's sort of one of those spots where in most other tracks you'd be able to take that corner and put your two wheels over that and still... Oh, as we see Horton get a little bit unstuck in his braking zone there. Just held the brakes a little too long. As we go back, McHenry is still just biding his time. He is just sitting here at the moment. I have this funny feeling he is trying to play a fuel strat with this race. We know he's quick. We know McHenry is quick. We know he's very consistent.
Yeah, under green flag running the whole way, if you're full push, I believe it's just a 2-stop. So if you can save over the hour, you may be able to turn it into a 1-stop. Now, the pit lane is quite long here. Not the longest we're going to have on the calendar. That will go to Spa for its notoriously long pit transit, but one of the longer ones on the calendar tonight. So if he can manage to cut out a stop, that will slingshot him well up the order. What he doesn't want to do is lose too much time doing it.
And that's going to be key. Is this longer than Daytona's pit? Because that being a NASCAR one, that... Oh, Mark Turner! Under the pressure of Mr. John McHenry. He's also going to lose a spot to Ryan Price. Maybe that pressure from McHenry was exactly what John was hoping for. Just caused Mark to make the mistake, and that's an easy spot eaten up by John. Only thing is now he doesn't have a car within draft range to try and save some fuel. So let's keep an eye on John, because I reckon he might start pushing harder. He's only been doing 144s at the moment. He is a long way off the top 4. They're all running 41s and 42s. So it's...
Yeah, that is a long way off the pace, looking at the people around him. The next car in the 144s is Kevin Wakefield down in 10th, but even then after that, 43s for both the Stinkoviches and then 44s for Greg Johnson in 13th. So that must be a fuel-saving strat. Now, these cars are very fuel-efficient. The engine's not very big, you know, and only a 2.4-litre engine, 4 cylinders, and they don't chew through a lot of fuel. So saving fuel in a fuel-efficient car isn't the easiest task, just because the burn isn't high either. So it can be done, especially when it's so close. The last few laps, I think pit window should be in the next few minutes. I would say, 24 minutes now. I would expect to see cars pitting within the next 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, I said I think from around the 20-minute mark we might see cars pulling in due to such a low fuel cap being, I say 33%. That's really not much fuel. And then, as you said, a car that's super efficient on fuel already to try and even save more fuel. But keeping an eye on McHenry and the gap between Callan and himself. I think we may see that close just so he can get a bit more on the back of Callan before a pit stop happens, or he's going to hope that these guys pit early and then he's going to try oh, excuse me. And he's going to try and push it maybe a lap or two more and try and get a bit of a... Oh, I'm losing my voice.
Well, John's last lap there was a 142.9, so already a second quicker than his previous before that. Callan's a 143.1, so did pick up the pace a little bit, only 0.2 quicker than Callan on that last lap, so he's got a bit more room to get before he gets back in within that tow range. But he spent the last 24 or so minutes fuel saving, so he will have a bit more in the bank. It'll be interesting to see when he pits If it's after that half an hour mark or thereabouts, if it's around the 30-minute mark, that'll give us a good indication whether he can make it all the way to the end, or any of these other drivers can make it all the way to the end. You know, if you're boxing around the 30, you know, anywhere after the 30-minute mark, that's a one-stop race for you. But within this will be the critical stage. If we get people in this lap or the next lap or even the lap after that, it'll be tight to the end under green flag running. And as we said pre-race, with this being an FIA Grade 1 circuit, it being quite a safe one, these cars not being very powerful and they can take a bit of a hit, plus the quick repair that you have, I would be surprised if we see much in the way of a safety car due to an incident, unless these guys are crashing into each other. But so far, barring the race start and turn 1, it's been generally pretty good.
Oh, something's happened. Mark Turner, I think, may have retired from the race. I just saw a bunch of people getting around him, and now I can't see him. So he dropped through. So he was up with McHenry and Hodgkinson.
Yeah, he was just sitting behind he was sitting behind Price. He did have that off when John was following him, but I'm not sure what's happened there.
He's plummeted down to P13. And I can't see any pit info.
Maybe... Yeah, you can't see his car in the pit lane there either, so maybe just a disconnect. As Josh Horton's just gone into the pits there, yeah.
There we go, 27 minutes in, nearly right on half-time. So they could do this in with one stop. It's going to be very, very push at the end, but...
Josh is going to need another 3 laps of fuel out of this tank. That's a very tall ask from this car. So this is what we're going to want to see. Can John, with the fuel saving he's done early on, get beyond that 30-minute mark? So we can see it's about a 27-28 lap tank. Fuel burn at the start of the race is a bit lower than normal because of the traffic running, but so the second stint will be higher fuel usage, albeit not by that much. But this will be very interesting to see.
So Horton's back out now. He's going to slot back into 10th. We saw him fight his way back up. Jet O'Murray and Jason Douglas are still running 141s. Do you think working together like this and drafting off each other, still pushing really quick times, they've actually managed to fuel save as well?
I can't say Jet has, because he's just jumped into the pits. He's been running at the front for quite a while now, and apart from a slowdown that he did get about 5 laps ago, which brought Jason back onto the back again.
Someone else is in there as well. Christensen is in as well. So that's left Jason Douglas out on his own. Callan's coming around now as well. He's in as well. McHenry, yeah, didn't think he was going to pull in. So maybe
29 minutes then. So these guys, you got to think, the race doesn't end when it hits an hour. You got to get that extra lap. Plus, if you don't want to rear of grid for the next race, you got to have that extra lap of fuel at the end to get back to pits for your in lap. So,
well, for McHenry, that doesn't actually matter because he races from rear of grid anyway. So he has that little bit of, I suppose, leniency to push his fuel limits to the edge.
Look, when push comes to shove, not one of the drivers out here in track are trading a win to avoid a rear grid penalty for the next race. If you're low on fuel and you've only got enough to make it to the end, you're absolutely taking every point you can get out of a race. Especially can you see what John McHenry's doing. You see what Jamie Christians is doing. You know, John, albeit people have been jumping the pits, but up 11 spots, and he's been running very well, generally about provisional 6th or 7th position. Around about that range, but Even looking towards Jamie, running up in third, up 7 positions on the start, starting from the back of the grid. 1 race 2 last week. Now this round starting from the back because he didn't have the fuel to complete his in-lap, plus was caught up with the incident at the end of last week's race. Maybe not able to get his car back to pits anyway.
Jason Douglas is now in. So Jet and Jamie have both managed to slot back out into provisional 3rd and 4th. McHenry's in now. He's got 10 seconds on Jet, 17 seconds on Christensen. Douglas is in just in front of him. Let's see how long that pit time is. Douglas still in at 40 seconds in the stall. That counter counts from 18.2 seconds in the stall. Pit lane timer, 47 seconds to get a pit and out. So McHenry, if Bess serves him at the moment, he may be able to squeeze out in front of Joshua Horton. It is going to be extremely close. It's not going to be as close as I thought it was, actually. Thought it was going to be a bit closer than that. So now he'll be trying to stay in front of Callan. Here comes Callan down the straight right now as McHenry does pull out. He is off and gone. Oh no, he just... I thought he got out in front of in front of Hodgkinson.
No, Callan looks like he's done a great few out laps coming out of the pits. Just really put the hammer down. But as we said, John McHenry is on a bit of a different strategy. Pitted with 31 minutes remaining, so he will still need to stretch this tank out. He's not going to get the same amount of laps out of this tank without the fuel saving, but going back to these LMR guys, now only still 2 tenths between them, box on different laps, but the gap didn't change whatsoever. These guys are doing the exact same lap times, pushing the exact same pace.
I was very surprised to see them. That's some serious teamwork there, that they've timed those pitch stops to the T. So Jet was able to go, and as Jason came back around for his, Jet was already coming back around. So by the time Jet was coming back around past the pits, Jason was coming out of the pits. So they ended up matching back together. That's phenomenal timing.
Yeah, and it just shows just how good these guys are, like pushing these cars pretty much to the peak of what they can do, and that's equivalent to the same lap time right out of the pits, equaling the same gap on the pit exit.
Great teamwork, great skills. Just see Dean sitting on the back of Kevin Wakefield. Kevin Wakefield's still sitting in 8th, which is where he qualified, so sitting in a nice consistent spot. Dean has definitely gotten quicker in these 86s this series. I'm sure he's not going to want to stay in 9th place. We are just over halfway through your CAMMUS Toyota GR86 series for round 4 here at Nurburgring Sprintstrecke, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools.
Maybe he might be carrying a little bit of floor damage or damage somewhere on the car there, Dean. He was 5 tenths only off the back of Kevin there, just wasn't able to really bring it in any tighter in the slipstream, which is very atypical for these cars, especially on such a long straight like the Nurburgring home straight here. Kevin just runs a bit wide. Dean's going to have a nice run down here into turn 5. That looks like a pretty good exit. Kevin was wise, but he's defended the inside immediately. And as we said, it's going to be a tough job around the outside, although he looks to have, doesn't even need the outside. Very bumpy on the outside through there, but did have the move done before the entry of the corner, so was able to get the car hooked in. Didn't have to run it too wide. And now through turn 6 and 7 was just nice and fundamental through there. Using all of the extra curb and gap out to 7.5 tenths. Lovely move.
It was a great move there by Mr. Dean Sinkovic. The battles on track have started to stretch a little bit. Jamie Christensen is 11 seconds off the back of Jet O'Murray at the moment as he comes up to Mr. Greg Johnson, a lapped car. It's going to be very, very hard to close that gap. Horton has just made a mistake, I think. Just come off track a little bit there. Managed to keep it together. Again, it's going to be very hard for these guys to draw these gaps back in unless someone makes a severe mistake. And as again, Jet and Jason just pushing high 141s to low 141s consistently tonight.
As Jet in the tow there of his teammates, it's a new fastest lap of a 141.0, and all the while makes the move down into turn 1, just moved into first place. So it looks to be a bit of a swap for positions. Maybe a bit of fuel saving stress between the two of them. They're just going to take turns, save a bit of fuel each, try to get to the end on the one stop. You know, the gap to Jamie, 13 seconds. Pit transit time is 46 seconds. Obviously, the cars are still moving down the pit lane, so it's not quite a 46 second loss. Say that 3 times quickly.
Yeah, I think I'll pass. I don't think I want to say that 3 times quickly. So really, oh man, it's safe.
Just glancing at the timing tower, then Kevin Wakefield was only about 8/10 off the back of Bruce. He's just dropped all of a sudden to 2.5 in the matter of only a few seconds there. So must have just had an incident. It's about the only other close battle we're having. Bruce is slowly gaining on Dean. Did have it down to under a second, but there it is again, just getting into that 9/10 range there. So
oh,
there it is. Yeah,
that's Callan and McHenry. So I noticed McHenry had gotten around Callan Hodgkinson. I thought, what's going on here? That happened really quick. There wasn't even battle or intervals or anything. It just sort of happened. So Callan has had a bit of a spin, and that's allowed John McHenry to close in that gap. And he's sitting in 5th place. This is his like dream spot. This is what's keeping him super consistent in the overall leader points. And that's got him in 2nd because he's consistently in this top 5 every single round.
and he's 35 seconds off the lead, so quite a way. Not going to be contending for the win on pace alone, but if any of these guys, namely Josh Horton and Jamie Christensen, need to box again for some more fuel, he will jump those guys. Absolutely guaranteed if he can keep it on this one-stop strategy. 35 seconds even would be pushing with Jet and Jason at this stage. They did box pretty early on. Was Josh one of the first in? I believe he was.
Yeah, he was the first.
He was the first in, so
yeah.
I would say, unless Josh is doing some pretty stingy fuel saving, which he doesn't look like he is with a 42.6. While saying that, Josh only 7/10 now off the back of Jamie Christensen.
Wow, he closed that
So
gap
something-
fast. Or
Something must have happened to Jamie there
I
for
wonder
that gap to drop.
through that same corner again. Through the S.
Yeah, that gap has dropped rapidly, and those guys are right with each other now.
Well, through the S's again. Christensen very on that thin line of putting those two right wheels over it again. Has managed to avoid the slowdown this time, but yeah, Horton right on the tail of him now. Really, these two should work together. They could, oh gosh. They might be able to close the gap a little bit, but it's definitely stretched out. But if they can work together, they may be able to save a bit of fuel together and close that gap at the same time. But if these top four, Horton has now moved around Christensen. It sort of looked like Christensen gave him a little bit of a way there.
Yeah,
So-
Christensen ran very deep there on the exit of turn 1. I don't know if he was necessarily giving up the position, but running that deep at turn 1, it's not going to be advantageous for either of them to fight the inevitable, essentially. Josh is going to have a massive run at the outside of turn 1. Dean now
Bruce
right on the back of Bruce White.
Bruce White actually just got around Dean. There was a pass there, so Bruce White has taken that spot back. Oh, Dean's run wide.
Dean's run very wide there, and Bruce has absolutely nailed Coca-Cola curve there. And got a nice run down into turn 1. You can see Dean just trying to grab a little bit of toe, maybe salvage it back, but couldn't quite get enough speed behind him to make them re-move back into turn 1. Back to the top. That's...
We missed Horton get around Christensen at that point too.
No, we had Horton go around Christensen
right.
at turn
Yeah,
1.
we did, yep.
Yeah.
I knew that. I got excited. I was like, wait, when did that happen? Yeah, it happened just before the replay you showed.
And back to the LMR show, not much has changed.
Everybody
Still,
else is very much sitting in the same position they were a couple of laps ago. Our biggest movers and shakers tonight, Jamie Christensen and John McHenry, both up 8 positions. Phenomenal start. And our biggest shaker tonight, well, it's a bit of a toss-up. They're not really that big. So Ryan Price, Bruce White, and Dean Sinkovich are all down 3 positions from where they started. So pretty consistent.
Not massive losses, especially considering Jamie and John started from the backs, and these guys are inevitably going to make their way through the grid. You know, especially Jamie. We know how quick he is. Now, is only 6/10 off the back of Josh. As we see, get a replay here of the start.
McHenry flew through the start.
He did. We did have a stall up here, the front there. It is, a couple of them. Yeah, Ryan Price and Kevin Wakefield, they're coming together, but...
And then there was also a spin of 4 cars involved on this first corner.
Yeah, we didn't see quite what happened here. There may have been a bit of contact. There it is there, yeah, just... Bit of a tough one.
Jumped so many positions there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions straight out of the starting gate. Horton. Christensen got back around Horton. Oh my gosh. He has. Christensen has got back around Horton. Yes. Let's get a quick replay. Don't get back around him. So Christensen right on the side here. Gone from the inside lane. That is such a great spot to be in. He's already knows that this is going to be his corner. Sticks it through there. Doesn't put those right wheels over the curb that time. Nails that overtake through there. Looks like he's going to hold it off for the moment. He is starting to push a little bit of clean air away from Horton at a 0.4 gap. But as they come down onto the straight, I think Horton is, yeah, look, every time there's a bit of
bit of contact. Just right in the toe there. Was really close heading down into turn 5. Just very late on the brakes there, making contact with Jamie. Just sends him rounds. Was unable to hold on to it there, Jamie, but that'll be one for race control to look at. Just hits the braking marker like normal, but under the toe, just need to brake that little bit earlier. Just couldn't get it pulled up in time, and unfortunately tapped Jamie around there. So Jamie will be suffering a little bit of rear damage, but
and Horton will also have a bit of
seems as if Horton seems to be giving the position back here. He is redressing.
He is redressing right now. Great show of racing.
Hang on. What's John McHenry?
Yeah, due to that incident, mate, because they both slowed down and had to get back on track. John McHenry closed that gap like nothing else, but Joshua Horton's already pushing hard.
He's like, I've conceded, but we need to get back to racing, unfortunately.
Come on, McHenry. Don't give up that easy, mate. We know you're quick.
Well, Joshua Horton here on what we call the driver-happy strategy. Just no fuel saving whatsoever.
Here we go.
And John McHenry back in. That's very, very deep on the brakes. Will he get it slowed up for turn one? Nicely done. Very confident on the brakes there.
I think McHenry was like, go on. I'll let you have this overtake, and then we'll see how you defend.
Yeah, maybe just thought he was going to run deep there into turn one. It's very easy to, if you hook it up around on the apex, to get a good run around turn two, defend that position. But man, John McHenry starting from the back on this strategy, on a good one at that, just really keeps on keeping on.
Up into fourth as well at this moment.
Into fourth.
Yeah.
All the while, Joshua Horton will be wanting to repass John, I would say, rather quickly, so he doesn't lose track of Jamie.
I feel like McHenry's not going to let that happen, though.
Absolutely not. So he's on the strategist master plan, but
so let's go.
He's still a racer.
John McHenry, round one, 4th overall. Round 2 takes the win. Round 3 finished.
As we see, Josh just looks to the inside, will get it done, and gets a nice run out of the corner as well. But John McHenry's going to have a nice double toe here, all the way down into turn one. Jamie Christensen must be suffering a bit of damage, and Joshua Horton as well. You can see just how much speed these 86s they can pick up, especially front end damage on these cars. Can get a lot of drag off these cars.
Christensen lost 2 spots.
Maybe another slowdown there. Seemed very uncharacteristically wide around there. Didn't almost give any effort to get that car back towards the apex. So does seem like he was serving maybe a bit of a slowdown, I would say.
Or was that a strat play? Oh no, there's only 12 minutes to go. Why would you want to try and strat play now? Now he's back up battling. I think you're right. Another slowdown for Christensen again. Now he's back into the battles. Talking about McHenry again, though, round 3, again, finished overall 5th. So 4th, 1st, 5th, sitting right in that sweet spot tonight for another 5th place finish. I wonder if McHenry's going to play the smart thing here. Christensen's going to want to push hard. He wants that 3rd place. This is battle for P3. The battle is now on between McHenry, Christensen, and Horton.
Very close there to a track cut there for Jamie. That was right on the limit, it seemed.
Again, maybe McHenry hasn't got the pace in this because he has just dropped off a little bit. And look at Hodgkinson reeling them in as well. This could end up being a 4-way battle for P3.
Just as we were saying, the battles are starting to spread out. It's been anything but. These guys have grouped right back up together, and we've seen, yeah, as you're saying, a 4-way battle for P3. Josh runs a bit deep into turn 1, but he's going to have a good nice line through turn 2. Jamie looks to have an excellent run here through turn 2, down into turn 3. John just sitting nice and wide, is going to try to get the hooks up. You're going to get hooked nice and right. Oh, as we see a car around there, that was Greg Johnson in the wall. Bonnet missing on that car. We'll see maybe a late safety car here. That could really spice things up.
He's back on track. Oh, look at McHenry getting the nose right down the inside. See that? That is a huge bump through that corner.
Yeah, it's a massive compression down the bottom there. It's part of the track not used very much at all. And it shows needs a bit of a resurface, it seems, down that way. But a lot of grass there for Josh Horton. compromised his exit. Now Jamie Christensen is going to have the inside, but that will turn into the outside of the chicane. But in saying that, we'll have the move done before. John McHenry's going to look to the inside, deep on the brakes.
Oh, the ripple strip.
Curve action.
No. Unlucky. Absolute phenomenal.
Oh, good avoidance there from Ryan Price. Almost into the back of him. Wow, that was close. That was centimetres away.
Unlucky for Mr. John McHenry. Has had an absolute killer of a race. Super consistent as always. But that little bit of side by side there sort of pushed him off and into that ripple strip, and we know these 86s, here it is, up on two wheels, and then around she goes. That's all she writes.
Yeah, the bottom part of that red and white curb, you can absolutely run over that, but the top part of that red and white curb turns into a massive anti-cut sausage, and it shows you why you shouldn't cut it, because especially in these cars, we'll put two wheels up in the air, and unless you're in the MotoGP, you need four wheels on the ground to get these cars around.
Aha, I see what you did there. For people who don't know, MotoGP is motorbike racing. And they have two wheels, not four. Just so you know. It's one of those that... Oh, no! McHenry again! I wonder if he didn't get tyres, and now those tyres are like... They don't wear tyres too much. Like, they have pretty good longevity in the tyres, but...
I don't think he'd be suffering from wear, but he might be suffering just from a bit of heat from the spin before. Did spin on a left-hand corner and then was going... It's hard to say.
Track temp is still extremely cool. So, but yeah, that spin, you're right, could have overheated.
In saying that, Joshua Horton has replaced John McHenry in this battle. Is right now on the back of him. Oh,
Callan
sorry.
Hodgkinson. So Horton's
been here the whole time.
Yeah,
Callan's just jumped up. I was looking at the car in the back and didn't even see Callan had got past.
Yeah, so Horton looks like to have had a little bit of an off track. I think during the battle with McHenry has allowed Callan to just squeeze through as he goes for a move on Christensen. He gets it done. We've got 8 minutes left to go. And Callan has just slotted himself into P3.
That was a very, very deep move there. Late on the brakes.
Coming back at him.
Down the inside. Callan's going to have the inside here for turn 4. Going to be nice and easy. But in saying that, Christensen's going to have a nice run down into turn 5. I've seen him go for a few moves here. Will be too far back this go round. Unless he's super late on the brakes. He's late anyway. He's ran a bit wide, very bumpy. It's like a water slide through there.
It's more like a small jump. This is a massive dip, but look at this. Christensen's still all over the back of Callan. Callan driving extremely smooth at the moment. Definitely going to want to keep Christensen away, but squeezed him down the inside.
Showed him the nose, and he's going to try to have the move done here before the chicane. Very loud in the brakes. Looks to turn across. Bit of contact.
Oh, I'd say a little bit more than a bit of contact there.
In brackets, quite a bit of contact. Round goes Callan. Just... We'll have a look at what happened here. Jamie very late on the brakes. Just... It's hard to say, that one. You know,
extremely close, both on the racing apex as they entered that corner. Both had their own lines. Right,
both had overlap. Yeah, it's hard to say. Jamie just all over the sausage curb for turn 10. The right-hander of the chicane, just once you hit that sausage, you're not going to have a lot of turn. Then not a lot to go, but they both had overlap, so no doubt the stewards will be looking at that one.
Sure, Callan is not happy, but Christensen, unlucky for Callan, but lucky for Christensen, he has slotted himself back up into P3. We are 55 minutes in of a 60-minute race. And we will be going to white flag within the next 2 laps.
And we'll see. The thing to keep an eye on is, are any of these guys going to jump into the pits in the next few minutes? Are they going to be okay on fuel?
Let's put it this way, with a 45-second pit lane time, I don't know if it's worth it. Horton has slowed down a lot. Price now up into 4th. I think the damage on Horton's car, or he's starting to run low on fuel because he was the first one to pull into the pits.
Maybe, and we'll see if he jumps in here, but unless he copped a slowdown, but I'm not sure where he would have got it through there.
Not going in the pits.
Maybe he's really just trying to... Yeah, didn't go into the pits. Not this lap.
See if he's fuel saving, but with the way he's got his foot to the floor down the straight here, we'll hear... There's the clutch.
There we go. He lifts it up towards the braking zone, clutch in. He's absolutely fuel saving.
Clutch
That's
is
a
still in.
heavy fuel save into turn 1.
Now he's off the clutch. Wow, that was no engine braking at all into that corner.
So he's
low on fuel.
Absolutely.
Very low.
It looks like under no circumstances he going to pit. He will make it to the end regardless of how the fuel situation is. That was an absolutely mammoth fuel save into turn 1, and he'll be doing it into every braking zone.
Gotta say, well done to Ryan Price. This is who I was talking about at the start, who is completely fresh to sim racing. Like 2 months, that's all he's been doing this for. He's raced the MX-5s, and that's it until he came to our Toyota GR86 series. And look at him up in 4th place. Did qualify in 4th, but has stayed there. And what a phenomenal drive. With Dylan Gray dropping in, saying, go Jet and Jace. They are miles gone. Callan's around Horton now. So, Horton is very low on fuel. Oh, no. Did I do it to Ryan? He's just had a slide on track. Callan now is closing in on him. Callan is definitely going to want to try and get a position back. We should be going on to white flag either this lap or next.
Wouldn't say it's this lap about 140. Could remember Jetto Murray, depends where he is on track.
That's who I was gauging it off.
So good. It's going to be tight. It should be... This should be the white flag, I would say. Yeah, it would be this lap. 140 a lap. Yeah, we go, yeah.
Let's keep an eye out for Barney. Barney, the flag bearer. Let's see if he is out and waving. Sometimes he's not doing his job. I don't see him. He's still just sitting in the booth there. No white flag waving. Maybe one more lap.
That could be massive trouble for those who are tight on fuel. They'd would have absolutely begging for this to be the white flag lap.
Yeah. I just heard something funny coming. The sound of Christensen's car. I don't know if that was just gravel on the road that he's picked up there. Car sounded a bit odd. Could have just been me.
Yeah, no fuel save there for Jamie, so it seems he's doing pretty alright on fuel. John McHenry's dropping, I can see.
No, Horton is dropping more. I think he's done. I think he's out of fuel completely. That's pushed McHenry up into 6th now.
He's got a bit of drive out of these corners, but he is darting into the pits. He's not going to have enough. That's unfortunate to see. Pitting on what would have been last lap of the race or thereabouts. Just didn't have enough in the tank.
And that was he pitted 2 to 3 laps earlier than everybody else. So it sort of shows where those pit strategies come in. Well done to John after that spin to get back up into 6th. He is going to be extremely happy. This is actually checkered flag. Why wasn't Barney waving the white flag? Barney not doing his bloody job again as Jet O'Murray comes across in P1. Jason Douglas in P2. And Jamie Christensen will come across in P3 for your CAMMUS Toyota GR86 series. Thanks to Warren and Brown Tools here for round 4 at Nurburgring Sprintstrecke. Wow, a lot of movement across the field tonight. Seeing a few drivers move up, a few drivers move down. Some great driving, especially from Josh Horton. Really, I feel for him after such a great race. Lots of battles up there with the front runners. But that fuel pit strategy just hasn't worked in his favour tonight. Ryan Price will finish where he qualified in 4th. Callan Hodgkinson up 2 spots.
Did 4th the hard way tonight. Ryan Price had to stall on the start. Took him 1 hour to get all the way back into the dying stages to get his starting position back, 4th position. We see Callan Hodgkinson 5th. John McHenry going to cross the line in 6th position. Very tight finish. Bruce White right on the back, only 2/10 was a gap there in the end, so very tight towards the line. Dean Sinkovich across the line in 8th. And Kevin Wakefield in 9th. Who to be crossing there he is, coming around the final corner. Picking up 9th. Josh Horton, after his very late, unfortunate, had to fill up. Final man to grab the checker. Here tonight. Across the line, 10th position. Very good race for him, but just unfortunate on the fuel in the end. Spoiled what would have been a very exciting finish for him.
Get the podium lining up. Is that the start finish line? Close enough. Lining up for some podium photos. Oh, Douglas has already jumped to the pits. Maybe he didn't have enough for the burnout. Christensen still making his way around. We will get your final results up any second, and then we will be moving on to our podium interviews. There is your round 4 results. Thanks to Warren and Brown Tools for your CAMMUS Toyota GR86 series. It is an LMR Esports 1-2. Jet O'Murray taking P1, Jason Douglas in P2, Jamie Christensen for Team SRW Motorsports in 3, Ryan Price 4th, Callan 5th for Crisscross Racing, John McHenry again a little bit lower than what he probably would have liked, but still a good finish. Up in 6th place for Locked On Racing, Bruce White, Dean Sinkovich, Kevin Wakefield and Joshua Horton will wind out your top 10. As the drone camera comes out, Jet O'Murray, Jamie Christensen. Yep, can't burn out these things. Give it a flick, you might.
Not quite enough torque in these things
they don't.
to light up the rears.
You can't do a standing burnout. You can't get them to start standing. You've got to, you got to flick them. They just, come on, Jamie. What can you do, mate? Be interested to see if he even gives it a go. He's turning his wheel a little bit. Where is he out of fuel? No, car is still running. Well, I would say that is it. That's game, set, and match tonight. That is it. Let's see if our drivers are in the green room. They are. And as we always do it, we will be starting from our P3 tonight. Jamie Christensen. And Ryan, he's all yours. Welcome to the Combox, Jamie.
Hello.
Jamie, mate. Congratulations tonight. All over. Exciting battle for P3. It's all going on there tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I had to save a decent amount of fuel because 2 tanks wasn't enough, apparently. So we only realised that about 3/4 into the race. And we dropped about 10 seconds and everyone started to catch up, me and Josh.
Yeah, that's something we were keeping an eye on, was roughly when people were hitting the box. Hitting the box about 28 minutes-ish for the majority. So thought maybe coming near the end, depending on where the leaders crossed the line and grabbed a white flag, how much fuel saving we'd see. So it was definitely going to be tight on fuel, but you know, obviously that we had a bit of a Barney down at turn 5. Just run us through what happened with that one.
Was that when Josh rear-ended me?
I believe it was.
Okay, so I was clutch all the way in, and I forgot I was clutch all the way in, so I braked a little bit early, and he didn't have his clutch in, I don't think. So, you know, he was a bit quicker than me, and that kind of caused him to, you know, go into me.
That's what we did actually say, wasn't it? That during we sort of picked it as the draft might have also assisted his faster speed and it being a bit harder on the brakes for him to slow down.
Yeah, that might have been it, because it was an accident. So.
Yeah, accidents happen. We did see the redress in the end, so great sportsmanship shown and all, but out of curiosity, how much fuel did you finish with?
0.
0.
Is that why there was no burnout?
I made the lap around, I stopped for the photo, and I couldn't move.
We saw you there just sitting there just turning the wheel left to right, so wasn't sure.
No, I just couldn't move.
Well, at least you made it back around, avoiding the rear grid for the next race, mate, but
yeah,
otherwise pretty eventful for P3, up 9 spots. You were the biggest gainer of the night, so you've done a great job there.
So speaking of rear grids, I had a rear grid of that race, and I got to P4 in T1.
T1? Yeah,
From
right.
off the start?
Yeah.
Right, let's get a replay of that again then.
I think it was P4, but it was around there.
No, we did see you move up into P4. At least we noticed it. Lap 2, I believe it was, but...
So you got to move on those two that have slowed you down. I mean, slowed each other down. And then there was that spin on this corner as well. But you look like you managed to stay away from it all. Yeah, nice. So then that slotted you into P5 behind that Jason and Callan. Great start,
that might
mate.
be Jet.
Oh, Jet is in... Yeah, Jet has the yellow. Sorry, the blue. Yeah. Yeah, great start though, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
And great finish again.
Yeah, it was actually very close. So, Josh fitted it. No, you go.
Sorry, man. No, you go. It's your interview.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair. Josh fitted a lap early, which made him like 3 litres down on what you should have been. So
we did talk about
on
that.
The last lap.
Yeah, we talked about that. It was nearly 2 to 3 laps prior to majority of everyone else. So we were interested to see if he was going to make it through. And then 2 laps before the finish, we noticed that he started dropping positions and his car was slowing down. Didn't look like it was on the pace. So we jumped on board for a ride with him and massive clutching in. So we were a little worried he wasn't going to make it, and sort of, yeah, a bit of a bummer because he was having a cracker of a race as well.
Yeah.
But mate, well done on another podium finish in the 86s here, mate. It seems like you enjoy racing these, and you've got a target, don't you?
Yeah, these cars are actually pretty fun because it's like a big go-kart, except for the part where it doesn't, oversteer every corner. So
paint that target on the back of the LMR Esports boys.
Oh yeah, I was trying to catch him, but I kept getting slowdowns on the chicane.
Yeah, we caught that a few times. We were wondering what kept happening, and then again got on board, had a quick replay, saw the two right wheels over the side, and thought, oh no, keep going, mate, keep going. And then next lap, same thing. And we're like, mate, pushing it too hard. Was it that you were pushing it too hard through there, or just trying to find the boundary of where you can put those wheels over?
I knew where the boundary was. I think it was because I was braking later and later every time. I think I was, at least. And I was just having more speed going through, and I couldn't turn left enough. And I'd just get half a tenth over the curb, but I'd lose it all because of the slowdown.
Yep. Unlucky, mate. Well, again, congratulations. And it is all yours to shout out your sponsors.
Well, I'd like to thank my dad for, helping me get this set up and all that. And I think you're going to have to do the rest for the SRW sponsors because I don't have a sheet in front of me again.
I'm going to have to send you the sheet, aren't I?
Yeah.
Well, of course, thanks to CAMMUS for the Toyota GR86 series. We also want to say a huge shout out to Warren and Brown, Toyo Sim, Grim Industries, Racecraft, and Tempting Sweets. They are all our sponsors that keep Team SRW on the track. So thanks to them, and thanks to you, Jamie, for coming along and having an absolute crack of a race tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you for hosting a race so I can actually do it.
You're welcome, mate. I suppose, yeah, we need to host a race. You guys need to get out there. Otherwise, there's no broadcast or race. So, well done,
exactly.
mate. Look forwards to seeing you out here. And let's see that podium spot take P1 next week, eh? No
Hopefully.
pressure. No pressure.
Yeah.
All right, mate. We'll get out of here. Go enjoy. And, talk to you soon.
All right. See yous.
Sorry, Ryan. I still just took over at the end there.
We're a team, mate. Teamwork.
I got a little excited because he, of course, drives for Team SRW Motorsports. So I get a little bit excited. Let's do things a little different. I'm going to bring both these lads in here because I feel like it's a P1, P2 deserved finish for both of them. They were glued to each other the whole race. Couldn't separate them. So we are going to get Mr. Jason Douglas and Jet Murray into the comms box all in one hit. Boys, you were just absolutely inseparable.
Oh, well, wouldn't be able to do it without Jay.
I'd like you to prove that you could do it without him. Jace, you've got a week suspension just because. Now it's all up to Jet to do it on his own.
Oh, radio then.
Again, you boys showed absolute phenomenal teamwork. And we've said this week in, week out. When you see teams out on track together, it just definitely feels like you get such a big advantage being able to use each other as support and draft. While you guys were setting 141 laps consistently drafting each other, it still seems like you guys managed to save fuel as well. Did that actually sort of work that way? Or Jet, did you sort of start running lower first because you were out in the lead?
Well, like always with when we race together or even when we race by ourselves, it's always, I guess, I know it's just kind of a skill thing that you need for saving fuel while you're still driving fast and competing with the other people behind you or catching in front of you. So it's just like a thing that will grow on you over time.
You guys were glued to each other. I want to talk about the pit strategy. So Jet, you went in first.
Well, I thought I wasn't going to make it, and then Jace was like, no, I'm going to make it. I'm like, must be a mistake. And then I come into the pits and I have 1.4 laps, and I'm like, oh, crap. And then I had to actually save a fair bit at the end there to actually make it, plus that cooldown lap. So Jace being Jace, he let me save off him, so it was even more of an advantage.
Well, it was really interesting because you went into the pits. Jason went back around, came into the pits, and then by the time you'd come back around again, Jason was pulling out behind you. It's like you guys never even left each other. Like, you'd both gone through the pits, separated, and then through the third lap through, as Jason was coming out of his pits, you were both back on top of each other. Was that worked out timing or just sheer luck of that's how it worked out?
Well, Jace can probably agree, but like, our fuel numbers were the exact same legit the whole race. So, and we had to add the exact same fuel and not add whatever we had to add, and add less fuel or add more fuel. So, we're no matter what gonna come out together. But, it was just, I don't think it was a part of our strategy to pit one and then the other. But I just thought I wasn't gonna make it, but when I was, so. It seemed to work out, and then I had to let Jace go through, as I said, to save off him.
Well, gents, phenomenal drive again. You guys seem pretty unstoppable. Christensen is starting to give you guys a bit of a hard time, and unfortunately that chicane caught him out a few too many times tonight and cost himself a lot of time on the track. So I think we better start driving the 86 a bit more rather than Thursdays. he's got a target on the back, guys. He's getting annoyed at finishing third all the time. But you guys, again, outstanding drive tonight. Ryan, do you have any questions for the LMR Esport boys?
How many slowdowns did you get, out of curiosity? Because there wasn't a lot.
I got one. But I don't even know how I got it, because I lost a second before I got the slowdown. So like, it's just iRacing the way it works. But it was a slowdown no matter what. But yeah, I lost time while getting a slowdown. So I got one. I think Jace got two.
Yeah, it was pretty tight there for the start. It was like maybe first 15 minutes. You guys, the top three were running pretty close, but. And Jamie just copped a couple of slowdowns, I think, back to back, and you guys just said, "See ya." And then,
I had a bit of a wobble on the start.
Yeah, I did see that. Just dropped down to, I think it was fourth position after turn one.
Yeah. Oh, Jace was like just going to drop the clutch, so I just dropped the clutch and almost stalled it.
Well,
yeah,
great time.
From experience, I've done that before.
That.
They absolutely do not like the clutch being dropped. You go nowhere.
Oh,
yeah, then I was in danger from almost even Jamie, which had a pretty good start, but got a bit lucky too. But anyway, he had a good start, and I was almost in danger from him, and then having to pass Josh back, and Jace did a great job at kind of holding him up and let me get back through. So, big thanks to Jace.
Teammates, mate. Yeah. Jace, I feel like Jet does most of the talking. Is that how it is in the comms while you're racing?
He tells me everything. So when to pit, when to go, when to save, I just listen to him.
So Jet, sounds like you're a real team leader.
Oh, you could say that from a team owner.
Well, lads, congratulations on the P1 and P2 finish here tonight for the CAMMUS Toyota GR86 series for round 4, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. Who's going to get the lovely microphone to shout out all your sponsors?
Well, Jace doesn't like doing it, so
he's going to do it, right?
I'll read half, you read the other, Jet.
I'll read them all. Alright, first I'd like to start off with Lodge Bros, W, Enza Performance, Wayne Boylet Mechanical, Lutsu Driver Performance, OKMS Photography, Majors Garage, James Guns, and the boys at LMR Esports, and especially Craig Fraser for spotting us and helping us around the track.
Nice, mate. Well, you guys are doing a phenomenal job over here at SRW. And again, if you guys are doing any real life racing, Jet, don't forget to get those pictures and videos up in the Discord. We do want to see them because we love shouting out how many of you, especially you young guys coming through the leagues. How old are you again, mate, Jet?
Just turned 15.
Just turned 15, and this little young fella here races in the Excel League and does a phenomenal job. We have seen videos of it, and it is showing as his skills progress and get better and better out here in the sim world as well. And it's great to see the leadership you have with your team as well, mate. So congratulations to not just Jet and Jason, but the whole LMR Esports team tonight. Great work and a great podium finish again for another round.
Thanks heaps, and thanks for all of you for putting this on.
No problems at all, boys. Now, I'm sure that you're probably going to want to jet and get to bed. See what I did there?
Yeah, I got exams, man.
Exams. Well, mate, go and get rested. Let's wrap up this broadcast, and we look forward to seeing you guys back here next week.
Thank you. See ya.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. We went from a bit of quiet racing to flat out battles across the field to some stretched out racing again to battles all across the field. So what a excellent race tonight. Great results for the LMR Esports drivers. Good result for the team SRW Motorsport guys. And again, John McHenry up 7 spots to be up right in the mix with the battles again. Bit of an unfortunate spin from that ripple strip. Did drop him out of that 3rd place running, but great drive from him. Awesome turnout tonight. Great driving across the whole field. Ryan, who is going to be our driver of the day?
Can I take the obvious pick?
May not be obvious to me, but shoot.
Gonna be J-Mac, no?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
It's either him or I would probably say even Ryan.
that was my other pick. It doesn't say on the tiring tower that he gained any positions, but
No,
if you
he
watched
didn't.
the race,
Yeah.
he didn't gain any positions, but he was last before turn 1.
He was last before turn 1. Qualified 4th. Started on the grid 4th. Stalled it on the line. Ended up in last. Raced his way back to 4th place. And again, he is completely new to sim racing. Only 2 months in and only raced the MX-5. So, mate, I feel like it's a double driver of the day. And we might have to leave it up to some of the viewers out there. But I feel like Ryan Price is definitely very deserving, and so is John McHenry tonight. So I'm going to say congratulations to both those drivers. I'd like to say congratulations to all the drivers on track. I phenomenally enjoy all of them getting out there every week and putting on such a great show for us. So, but yeah, we've got to make a call. Ryan or John? Who is it, Ryan?
Why don't we just take one each?
You can only have one driver of the day. We've got to pick one because they will be getting sent a little package from temptingsweets.com.au as their driver of the day reward.
Look, to me, it's Ryan.
Yeah, hands down.
Not just because we share the name, just because
very deserving race.
If John did a great job. And I probably would have given it to him if he didn't have that ripple strip incident.
Agreed.
That's the only distinguishing factor, you know.
Yeah.
Ryan, it wasn't beautiful tonight, but it was effective in the end. Got him all the way back up into 4th position. Started there, but considering how it started, then you know that's a terrific result in the end. I didn't even see him on screen so much tonight. Just kept on keeping on. Didn't really let it deter him the entire race. You know, as you said, only been sim racing for, you know, barely a term's worth of time on the sim, but already up here in P4.
And that's it. That's locked in. Ryan Price is our driver of the day. Phenomenal race tonight. Thank you to CAMMUS for helping support our Toyota GR86 series. Our round sponsor tonight has been Warren and Brown Tools. Our qualifying session and fastest lap tonight was brought to you by Toyo Sim. Our safety car, which we did not see, was brought to you by Promo Department. Huge shout out to all our other sponsors. Grim Industries, Racecraft, and of course, temptingsweets.com.au. Mate, great race. Look forwards to next week. Which I just mind blanked. Man, I've done that way too many times tonight. Where are we next week, Ryan?
Oh, I was just looking at it. We are at Suzuka next week for a sprint round.
Suzuka GP, 5.8 kilometers for a sprint round.
That is the full circuit, yes, the GP. It'll be a good one. Good, nice challenge next week.
Gonna be an absolute cracker. Can't wait to see all our drivers out there. I am Nathan ShiBBy Howard. The guy beside me is not Ryan Price. It is Ryan Green. Thank you for joining me again tonight, mate, for your CAMMUS Toyota GR86 series. We are going to sign off tonight. Stay safe and drive hard.